Navigating Parental Abduction, a comprehensive guide to understanding and action. Introduction. Parental abduction is a profoundly distressing issue that affects families across the globe, transcending geographical, cultural, and legal boundaries. This introduction aims to highlight the significance of raising awareness about parental abduction and to provide a succinct overview of the complexities that surround this troubling phenomenon. The significance of awareness surrounding parental abduction. Awareness is the first step toward prevention and resolution. Parental abduction not only disrupts the lives of the children involved but also inflicts deep emotional scars on the left-behind parents and caregivers. Understanding the dynamics of parental abduction is crucial for several reasons. Preventive measures. Increased awareness can empower parents, especially those in multicultural relationships, to take proactive steps to protect their children. By understanding the legal frameworks and risks associated with international travel and custody arrangements, parents can mitigate the chances of abduction before it occurs. Support for affected families. Awareness leads to a greater understanding of the emotional and psychological toll that abduction takes on families. By recognizing the signs and consequences of parental abduction, communities can provide better support systems for affected families, including access to legal resources, counseling, and advocacy groups. Policy and legal advocacy. Heightened awareness can prompt changes in policies and legal frameworks. When the public is informed about the prevalence and impact of parental abduction, it can lead to increased advocacy for stronger laws and international cooperation to address this issue comprehensively. Why? Community engagement. Creating a culture of awareness helps foster community engagement. By educating friends, family, and community members about the risks and realities of parental abduction, we can build a support network that aids families in distress. An overview of the complexities of parental abduction. Parental abduction is not a straightforward issue. It encompasses a myriad of legal, emotional, and cultural complexities that can make resolution challenging. Some of the significant complexities include legal variability. Different countries have varying laws and regulations regarding child custody and abduction. The legal definitions of custody, visitation rights, and what constitutes abduction can differ significantly from one jurisdiction to another. This variability can complicate the process of recovering abducted children across international borders.
Emotional turmoil. The emotional impact of parental abduction is profound and multifaceted. For the abducted child, the experience can lead to confusion, fear, and a sense of loss. Left behind parents often endure feelings of helplessness, anxiety, and grief, which can have lasting psychological effects. Cultural influences, cultural norms, and values can influence perceptions of parental rights and responsibilities. In multicultural relationships, misunderstandings about the legal rights of parents in different countries can create additional challenges and may increase the risk of abduction. International treaties and cooperation. The Hague Convention on the Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction is a critical framework for addressing international parental abduction. However, its effectiveness depends on the willingness of countries to cooperate and adhere to its stipulations. Variations in compliance and enforcement can hinder the return of abducted children. Societal perceptions, societal attitudes toward parental abduction can vary, with some cultures viewing the act as a legitimate response to perceived threats, while others consider it a criminal offense. These differing perspectives can complicate the legal and social response to abduction cases. Understanding parental abduction. Parental abduction is a term that encompasses a range of actions taken by one parent or guardian to unlawfully take, conceal, or retain a child without the consent of the other parent or legal guardian. Understanding parental abduction involves grasping the various definitions and classifications, as well as the legal distinctions that exist across different jurisdictions. This section aims to clarify these concepts and their implications for families navigating this challenging landscape. Definitions and classifications: international versus domestic parental abduction. Domestic parental abduction occurs when a child is taken or retained within the same country, typically in violation of a custody agreement or court order. This may involve a parent hiding the child from the other parent or relocating without permission. Domestic abduction can arise from disputes over custody, visitation rights, or disagreements about parenting styles. Examples: a mother may take her child to live with relatives in another part of the country without the father's consent, or a father might refuse to return the child after a scheduled visit. International parental abduction. International parental abduction takes place when a child is unlawfully taken or retained in a foreign country, often making the process of recovery significantly more complicated. This type of abduction can occur when one parent travels abroad with the child and fails to return, or when a parent abducts the child directly from their country of residence to another country. Examples: a parent may take their child on a vacation to another country and then refuse to return, claiming that the child will be safer or happier there, or a parent may flee their home country with the child to avoid legal repercussions from an ongoing custody battle. Legal distinctions and variances across different jurisdictions. The legal landscape surrounding parental abduction is intricate and varies widely from one jurisdiction to another. Understanding these distinctions is crucial for parents who may find themselves facing abduction or dealing with its aftermath. Custody laws. Different countries have varying definitions and interpretations of custody laws, which can impact the legal standing of each parent in abduction cases. In some jurisdictions, custody may be divided into legal custody, the right to make decisions regarding a child's upbringing, and physical custody, where the child resides. The lack of uniformity in how custody is defined can lead to confusion and disputes in abduction cases. Legal remedies. The legal remedies available to a left-behind parent can differ significantly based on jurisdiction. Some countries may afford immediate legal recourse through family courts, while others may require lengthy and complex legal proceedings. Additionally, the availability of enforcement mechanisms for custody orders can vary, affecting a parent's ability to regain custody of their child. International treaties. The Hague Convention on the Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction is a primary legal framework that aims to address international parental abduction by facilitating the return of abducted children. However, not all countries are signatories to this treaty, and those that are may have different interpretations of its provisions. This inconsistency can create challenges in effectively resolving abduction cases across borders. Cultural and societal influences. In some jurisdictions, cultural attitudes may influence legal outcomes in parental abduction cases. For instance, courts in certain cultures may prioritize the rights of mothers over fathers or vice versa, impacting the determination of custody and the handling of abduction cases. Enforcement challenges. Variability in law enforcement and judicial cooperation can complicate the resolution of parental abduction cases. In some countries, local law enforcement may be unwilling or unable to enforce foreign custody orders, hampering a left-behind parent's efforts to recover their child. In summary, understanding parental abduction requires a comprehensive examination of its definitions and classifications, as well as the legal distinctions that exist across jurisdictions.
Global trends in parental abduction. Parental abduction is a global issue that affects countless families across various nations and cultures. Understanding the current statistics, emerging trends, and the impact of globalization on parental abduction can provide valuable insights into this pressing concern. This section explores these dimensions in detail, shedding light on the scale of the problem and the factors contributing to its prevalence. Current statistics and emerging trends. Recent reports indicate that parental abduction is an ongoing concern, with thousands of cases occurring annually around the world. While exact numbers can be challenging to ascertain due to varying reporting practices, some key statistics help illustrate the scope of the issue. International abduction rates. The U.S. Department of State estimates that approximately 1,000 cases of international parental child abduction are reported each year in the United States alone. This figure represents only a fraction of the total global incidence. as many countries do not maintain consistent records or publicize their statistics. Domestic abduction trends. According to various studies, domestic parental abduction remains more prevalent than international cases. In some regions, it is estimated that 1 in every 10 custody disputes may involve an abduction attempt by one parent. This trend reinforces the need for awareness and preventive measures within family dynamics. Emerging patterns. Recent trends suggest that the number of international abductions may be increasing, particularly in cases involving parents from multicultural backgrounds. As families become more diverse, the complexity of custody disputes often rises, increasing the likelihood of abduction as one parent may seek to relocate the child to their country of origin to assert their perceived rights. Key figures from various nations. Different nations exhibit varying rates of parental abduction, influenced by their legal frameworks, societal norms, and cultural attitudes towards family and custody. Here are some key figures from selected countries that illustrate this variability. United States. As mentioned, the U.S. manages around 1,000 international parental abduction cases annually. Additionally, a significant number of children are reported missing each year due to domestic abduction, with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children indicating that 74% of child abduction cases involve a non-custodial parent. Canada. In Canada, estimates suggest that approximately 200 children are abducted internationally each year. The country's legal system emphasizes the importance of the Hague Convention, yet challenges remain in enforcement and recovery processes. United Kingdom. The UK experiences hundreds of international parental abductions annually, with many cases involving parents who have moved abroad. According to the Foreign, Commonwealth, and Development Office, the UK government receives around 300 reports of international child abduction each year. Australia. In Australia, approximately 300 cases of international parental child abduction are reported annually, with a notable percentage involving parents seeking to return to their country of origin with the child. The Australian government actively engages in international cooperation to address these cases. India. As a country with a diverse population and evolving legal frameworks, India has seen a rise in parental abduction cases, particularly among expatriate communities. Reports indicate that the complexities of custody disputes often lead to abductions, with Indian courts grappling with international law implications. The influence of globalization and diverse cultural relationships. Globalization has significantly impacted parental abduction, as it has increased mobility and interconnectedness among families worldwide. This phenomenon has several implications. Increased mobility. As families become more mobile, with parents often relocating for work or personal reasons, the risk of abduction can rise. When one parent moves to another country, the potential for disputes over custody and visitation rights increases, leading to a higher likelihood of abduction attempts. Cultural conflicts. Globalization has fostered multicultural relationships, which can sometimes lead to misunderstandings regarding custody rights and responsibilities. Different cultural norms surrounding parenting, divorce, and child-rearing can create friction between parents, sometimes culminating in abduction as one parent seeks to assert their perceived rights over the child. Legal disparities. The differences in legal systems and child custody laws across countries can complicate abduction cases. A parent may perceive that they have more favorable legal standing in their country of origin, prompting them to abduct the child, rather than engage in a potentially lengthy legal battle. International cooperation. While globalization has presented challenges, it has also led to increased international cooperation in addressing parental abduction. Treaties like the Hague Convention facilitate collaboration among countries to ensure the prompt return of abducted children. However, the effectiveness of these agreements often depends on the willingness of nations to cooperate and uphold their obligations.
In conclusion, understanding global trends in parental abduction requires careful consideration of current statistics, key figures from various nations, and the influence of globalization and cultural diversity. By recognizing these trends, we can better equip families, policymakers, and communities to address the challenges posed by parental abduction and work towards effective prevention and resolution strategies.
Parental abduction is a traumatic event that reverberates through the lives of all involved, particularly the children who are abducted and the parents left behind. The consequences of such actions are profound and multifaceted, affecting not only the immediate actors but also the wider family dynamics. This section delves into the various impacts of parental abduction, focusing on the consequences for abducted children, the emotional toll on left-behind parents, and the long-term psychological effects on families. Consequences for children who have been abducted. Disruption of stability. Children who are abducted often experience a sudden and jarring disruption to their sense of stability. They may be forcibly removed from familiar environments, routines, and support systems, which can lead to feelings of confusion and insecurity. This disruption can significantly impact their ability to form healthy relationships and feel safe in their surroundings. Emotional and behavioral issues. Research indicates that abducted children are at a heightened risk of developing emotional and behavioral problems. They may display anxiety, depression, anger, or withdrawal as they struggle to cope with their new circumstances. These emotional challenges can manifest in various ways, including difficulty in school, social isolation, and aggression. Identity and belonging issues. Children who have been abducted may grapple with issues related to identity and belonging. They may feel torn between two worlds, especially if they are taken to a different cultural or linguistic environment. This internal conflict can lead to a sense of alienation and confusion about their identity, particularly if they are placed in situations where their cultural background is not acknowledged or valued. Fear and trust issues. Abducted children may develop deep-seated fears and trust issues, particularly towards adults. The experience of being taken away from one parent and thrust into an uncertain situation can erode their sense of security, making it difficult for them to trust caregivers or authority figures in the future. Emotional repercussions for parents left behind. Sense of loss and grief. Left behind parents often endure an overwhelming sense of loss similar to that experienced by someone grieving the death of a loved one. The emotional pain of not knowing the whereabouts of their child, combined with the fear for their safety and well-being, can lead to profound distress and heartache, feelings of helplessness and guilt. Many parents who have had their children abducted experience feelings of helplessness and guilt. They may question their own actions, wondering if they could have done something differently to prevent the abduction. This self-blame can be exacerbated by societal perceptions that may unfairly place the responsibility for the abduction on the left-behind parent. Anxiety and depression. The emotional toll of parental abduction can lead to heightened anxiety and depression in left-behind parents. They may become consumed by worry about their child's safety and well-being, leading to sleep disturbances, difficulty concentrating, and an overall decline in mental health. The stress of navigating legal battles and potential custody disputes can further exacerbate these feelings. Strained relationships. The trauma of parental abduction can strain relationships with friends, family, and even within the remaining parent-child dynamic. Left-behind parents may find it challenging to connect with others who have not experienced similar loss, leading to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Long-term psychological effects on families. Impact on family dynamics. Parental abduction can fundamentally alter family dynamics. Relationships among family members may become strained, as the left-behind parent may feel resentment towards the abducting parent, while siblings may also experience confusion and distress about the situation. This shift can lead to a breakdown in family communication and support. Psychological scarring. Both children and left-behind parents may carry psychological scars long after the abduction incident. Abducted children may face ongoing emotional challenges as they navigate their feelings of loss, fear, and uncertainty. Left-behind parents may continue to grapple with anxiety and depression, particularly if their child remains missing or if there are ongoing legal battles. Intergenerational effects. The impact of parental abduction can extend beyond the immediate family, affecting future generations. Children who grow up in an environment marked by parental abduction may be more likely to experience relationship difficulties, trust issues, and attachment problems in their own future relationships, perpetuating a cycle of trauma, legal and financial consequences. The aftermath of parental abduction often leads to significant legal and financial burdens for left-behind parents. Navigating custody disputes, legal proceedings, and potential international law issues can be both emotionally draining and financially taxing, impacting the overall stability of the family unit. In conclusion, the impact of parental abduction is far-reaching and deeply felt by children, left-behind parents, and families as a whole. The consequences extend beyond the immediate circumstances, influencing emotional well-being, family dynamics, and even future generations. Recognizing and addressing these impacts is crucial for supporting affected families and fostering healing and recovery in the aftermath of such a traumatic experience.
The legal landscape surrounding parental abduction is complex and multifaceted, involving both international treaties and domestic laws. Understanding this framework is essential for parents, legal practitioners, and policymakers alike, as it affects how abduction cases are handled across different jurisdictions. This section provides an overview of international laws, including the Hague Convention, examines domestic policies and variations that exist, and explores the role of legal systems in addressing abduction cases. Overview of international laws including the Hague Convention. The Hague Convention on the Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction. Established in 1980, the Hague Convention is a pivotal international treaty designed to address international parental abduction. It aims to ensure the prompt return of children wrongfully removed to or retained in a foreign country, thereby safeguarding the rights of custodial parents and the well-being of children. Key provisions: the Convention outlines the obligations of member countries to return abducted children to their country of habitual residence. It establishes a legal framework for cooperation among countries, providing a mechanism for parents to seek the return of their children through central authorities designated by each member state. Limitations: while the Hague Convention is a significant tool in combating international parental abduction, it has its limitations. For example, the Convention does not address issues of custody rights or parental visitation. It strictly focuses on the child's return. Additionally, not all countries are signatories to the Convention, which can complicate recovery efforts. Other international instruments beyond the Hague Convention, other international agreements such as the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child (UNCRC), also play a role in addressing issues related to child abduction. The UNCRC emphasizes the protection of children's rights and welfare, reinforcing the importance of ensuring that children's best interests are prioritized in custody disputes. Domestic policies and the differences that exist, variation in custody laws. Domestic policies regarding child custody and abduction vary widely across countries and even within regions of the same country. Legal definitions of custody, visitation rights, and what constitutes parental abduction can differ significantly, leading to confusion and complications in cases involving cross-border elements. Legal custody versus physical custody. Some jurisdictions may differentiate between legal custody, the right to make decisions about a child's upbringing, and physical custody, where the child resides. This distinction can have a considerable impact on abduction cases, particularly when one parent removes a child without consent. Enforcement mechanisms. The effectiveness of legal frameworks in addressing parental abduction is often contingent on the enforcement mechanisms available in each jurisdiction. Some countries have robust legal systems that facilitate the swift return of abducted children, while others may lack the necessary resources or political will to enforce custody orders effectively. Judicial discretion. In many jurisdictions, judges have significant discretion in determining custody and abduction cases. This discretion can lead to inconsistent outcomes, as different judges may interpret the law differently or prioritize various factors based on their own beliefs or societal norms. Cultural influences. Cultural attitudes towards parenting and family can also influence domestic policies and legal outcomes in abduction cases. In some cultures, maternal custody may be favored, while in others, paternal rights may be prioritized. Such cultural biases can impact the legal treatment of abduction cases and the decisions made by courts. The role of legal systems in addressing abduction cases, judicial processes. Legal systems play a crucial role in addressing parental abduction through judicial processes. When a child is abducted, the left-behind parent may need to initiate legal proceedings to seek the return of their child. This process often involves filing petitions in family courts, presenting evidence of custody rights, and navigating complex legal frameworks. International cooperation. The role of legal systems extends beyond national borders, particularly in cases of international abduction. Countries that are signatories to the Hague Convention are required to cooperate with one another to facilitate the return of abducted children. This cooperation may involve communication between central authorities, coordination of legal resources, and collaboration with law enforcement agencies. Support services. In addition to judicial processes, legal systems often provide support services for families dealing with abduction cases. These services may include legal aid, counseling, and resources for navigating custody disputes. Some jurisdictions also have specialized units within law enforcement to handle cases of parental abduction, which can streamline the recovery process. Advocacy and reform. Legal systems are also instrumental in advocating for reforms aimed at preventing parental abduction and improving the response to abduction cases. Advocacy groups and legal professionals often work to raise awareness of the issue, promote best practices in family law, and push for legislative changes that better protect children and custodial parents. In conclusion, the legal framework surrounding parental abduction is complex and multifaceted, encompassing international treaties like the Hague Convention and diverse domestic policies. Understanding these laws and how they interact is essential for addressing parental abduction effectively. Multicultural families face unique challenges and complexities, particularly concerning child custody and the potential for parental abduction. Understanding and implementing preventative strategies can help mitigate the risks associated with these challenges. This section outlines essential strategies for multicultural families, focusing on the importance of understanding the legal landscape of the country, establishing legal agreements and custody arrangements, and fostering open communication and collaboration between partners. Importance of understanding the legal landscape of your country. Familiarity with child custody laws. It is crucial for multicultural families to understand the child custody laws of the country in which they reside. Different nations have varying definitions of custody, visitation rights, and parental responsibilities. This knowledge can help parents navigate potential disputes and reduce the likelihood of misunderstandings that could lead to abduction. Awareness of international treaties. Multicultural families should familiarize themselves with international treaties such as the Hague Convention on the Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction. Understanding how these treaties operate and the rights they confer can empower parents to take proactive measures to protect their children in the event of a custody dispute or abduction. Legal resources and support. Families should seek legal advice and support to fully understand their rights and responsibilities. Consulting with a family law attorney experienced in international custody issues can provide valuable insights into how to best protect children and prevent potential abduction scenarios. Legal professionals can also guide families in drafting agreements that reflect their unique circumstances. The necessity of legal agreements and custody arrangements. Formalizing custody agreements. One of the most effective ways to prevent parental abduction is to establish a clear and formal custody agreement. This agreement should be legally binding and outline the rights and responsibilities of each parent concerning the child's upbringing, visitation schedules, and travel arrangements. Travel restrictions. When drafting custody agreements, parents should consider including clauses that specify travel restrictions, particularly international travel. Requiring consent from both parents before a child can be taken out of the country can help prevent unilateral decisions that may lead to abduction. Update and reassess agreements. Multicultural families should regularly review and update custody agreements to reflect changes in circumstances such as relocation, changes in employment, or shifts in family dynamics. Keeping the agreements current ensures that they remain relevant and effective in protecting the child's welfare.
Utilizing mediation services. Mediation can be a valuable tool for multicultural families to resolve disputes amicably. Engaging the services of a mediator experienced in international family law can help parents reach mutually agreeable custody arrangements without resorting to litigation, thereby fostering collaboration and reducing conflict. Fostering open communication and collaboration between partners. Establishing trust. Open and honest communication is essential for multicultural families to build trust between partners. Establishing a foundation of trust can help prevent misunderstandings and conflicts that may lead to parental abduction. Discussing parenting styles and values, multicultural families often bring together different cultural backgrounds and parenting philosophies. Engaging in discussions about parenting styles, values, and expectations can foster understanding and reduce the likelihood of disagreements that could escalate into custody disputes. Setting shared goals for parenting. Parents should work together to set shared goals for their child's upbringing. Collaborative discussions about education, health care, and cultural practices can create a unified approach to parenting, reinforcing the commitment to the child's well-being. Conflict resolution strategies. Families should establish conflict resolution strategies to address disagreements constructively. This can involve regular check-ins to discuss any concerns, seeking professional guidance when needed, and committing to resolving issues before they escalate. Encouraging family involvement. Involving extended family members in discussions about parenting and custody can provide additional support and reinforce a sense of community. This involvement can be particularly valuable in multicultural families, where extended family dynamics play a significant role in child rearing. In conclusion, preventative strategies for multicultural families are essential in mitigating the risks of parental abduction. By understanding the legal landscape, establishing clear legal agreements, and fostering open communication and collaboration, parents can create a supportive environment that prioritizes the well-being of their children. These proactive measures empower families to navigate the complexities of multicultural dynamics while safeguarding against the potential challenges associated with parental abduction. Raising awareness about parental abduction is critical in preventing this troubling phenomenon and supporting families who have been affected by it. By highlighting the need for awareness and providing resources for advocacy, we can foster a more informed and proactive approach to this issue. Highlighting the need for awareness about parental abduction. Understanding the scope of the issue. Awareness is the first step toward prevention. Many individuals, including parents, educators, and community members, may not fully understand the prevalence and impact of parental abduction. Informed communities can better recognize the signs of potential abduction and take preventive measures to protect children. Promoting education. Educational initiatives aimed at parents, caregivers, and professionals can provide essential information about the legal implications of custody arrangements, the signs of potential abduction risks, and effective strategies for conflict resolution. Workshops, seminars, and informational campaigns can serve as platforms for disseminating this knowledge. Addressing misconceptions, misunderstandings, and misconceptions about parental rights and custody laws can contribute to the occurrence of abductions. Raising awareness can help dispel myths and clarify the legal responsibilities of parents, encouraging them to prioritize cooperation and communication in custody arrangements. Engaging communities. Community involvement is crucial in addressing parental abduction. By organizing local events, such as community forums, awareness days, and discussions, individuals can engage with their neighbors and local organizations to foster a culture of vigilance and support around the issue of parental abduction. Media campaigns, utilizing traditional and social media platforms to raise awareness, can significantly impact public perception and understanding of parental abduction. Campaigns that share personal stories, statistics, and expert insights can reach a broader audience and encourage dialogue about the importance of protecting children from abduction. Resources and advocacy groups available to support affected families. Legal aid organizations. Numerous legal aid organizations provide resources and assistance to families dealing with parental abduction. These organizations often offer pro bono legal services, guidance on navigating custody disputes, and educational resources on parental rights. Examples include the American Bar Association's section of family law and similar organizations in other countries. Nonprofit organizations. Various nonprofit organizations focus specifically on parental abduction and child custody issues. These organizations often provide a wealth of resources, including educational materials, legal referrals, and emotional support.
Notable organizations include the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children (NCMEC), This organization focuses on preventing child abduction and provides resources for families dealing with abduction cases, including legal guidance and emotional support. Parents of Abducted Children PAC, a support group for parents who have experienced abduction. PAC offers resources, networking opportunities, and advocacy for legislative change. Support groups, local and online support groups, can provide a sense of community for parents affected by abduction. These groups offer emotional support, shared experiences, and practical advice for navigating the challenges of recovery. Connecting with other parents who have faced similar situations can be invaluable in the healing process. Counseling and mental health services. The emotional toll of parental abduction can be profound, making access to mental health services essential. Many organizations and therapists specialize in trauma-informed care for families affected by abduction. Seeking professional support can help individuals and families process their feelings, cope with anxiety, and rebuild relationships. Advocacy groups and coalitions. Various advocacy groups work to promote legislative changes and raise awareness about parental abduction. By joining these organizations, individuals can participate in efforts to influence policy and advocate for stronger protections for children and custodial parents. Examples include the Hague Convention Coalition. This group focuses on promoting the effective implementation of the Hague Convention on the civil aspects of international child abduction and advocating for best practices and international cooperation. Children's rights advocacy groups. Organizations that advocate for children's rights can provide valuable resources and support for families navigating abduction cases, emphasizing the need for child welfare and safety. In conclusion, raising awareness about parental abduction is vital for prevention and support. By educating communities, addressing misconceptions, and providing resources for affected families, we can create a supportive environment that prioritizes the well-being of children. Advocacy groups and resources play a crucial role in empowering families, fostering collaboration, and promoting legislative changes that protect children's rights and prevent abduction. Through collective efforts, we can work towards a future where parental abduction is minimized and families are equipped to navigate the complexities of custody with understanding and support.